Do not write fanfiction. One second you're normal, and the next, you're downloading a calendar from 2004 and tearing your hair out over what specific date every event in your fic happens. Yes, this is my current literati fic. I now know way too many specific dates of things that happened in season 4 and 5 of Gilmore Girls, all industriously puzzled out via transcripts and wikis and my own sleuthing skills. What an excellent use of my time, I agree. This is too real. I'm writing a fanfiction that alternates between 2009 and 2011, and the amount of research I've done on those 2 years to make sure all the references work has made me a reluctant expert on both years. You do it for the fans, I suppose. I would love to hear your notes on those years if you have them. I'm writing in a similar zone and get too worked up about this. I'll give you 2 words: jeggings and Twilight. Sometimes you have to check when movies and shows come out so that the references the characters make are accurate to the time, and not a decade or 2 before. Other times, you will find yourself reading something completely obscure, such as the official Ministry of External Affairs website of Singapore, for one singular line of reference. Me, every time I sit down to start a new fic. I'm not gonna care about the details this time. The readers don't care, so why should I? Me, every time I'm 20 minutes into writing, researching something so niche. Me, frantically Googling what dining options were at Columbia University during the spring 2012 semester. I could ask Reddit. I'm scared to, though. Did you know that Cotton Eye Joe was written 5 years before the invention of the stapler? Because I didn't used to! And then there's trying to learn calculus for the sake of a fic. Turns out, math doesn't care if there are gay people at stake or not. It's just as hard either way. Catching myself doing math for something that literally could not matter less, or researching physics or engineering because the person you're writing is a nerd. Me calculating the actual weight of a very specific tree species for a downed log that my character could have feasibly lifted up. No one would have Googled that, but I was like, no, I need to know the actual weight. I decided a character of mine is a poem nerd, and I spend 99% of working on my fic looking up and reading poems until I find the right one for the situation. It's a curse and blessing at the same time. Then there's looking at scores of websites to see what people in a specific location in 1939 ate, only to find everything was just boiled. I retroactively made a chart and realized 5 days passed in the span of like 2 days, and I got so nervous somebody would also make a calendar chart and find out that I made it ambiguous whether 1 or 5 days passed. I dropped a fic because I couldn't write events in time with the dates, and I missed a character's birthday. I am struggling to write a fluffy fic about 2 characters playing Space Scrabble, because I do not know if the point values are accurate. Traveling through Google Maps for half an hour just so I describe the highway in the middle of Nevada right. Or you've spent so much time on Google Maps Street View that you notice when that cute bodega in Greenwich Village has had a new photo uploaded. And you know, without looking, how to get from Washington Square to the Strand despite having never been there. Using Google to walk the streets in a city of France I may never visit in my lifetime, trying to map out events for like 3 chapters. Looking over an actual military base and surrounding areas, going, is this where a possible abandoned church overrun with monsters could exist? Because just winging it is not an option. It must be possible, because if it isn't, it'll keep me up for the rest of my days. I wanted a scene in the snow, but it didn't snow at that time during that entire winter. Shakes fist at clouds. Sometimes you find yourself checking weather reports for Yorkshire in December of 1925, and then you let out a little squeal because yes, it was cold, and yes, there was ice, and yes, you can have that one throwaway byline where the main character thinks about driving carefully in these conditions. I still remember digging through old Scottish weather records from the 70s, because I needed a storm and didn't want to be inaccurate about it. Then I remembered that I was writing about magic, and that it was maybe a tiny bit overdoing it. I still keep a calendar of all the fix events though. I need to know which stars are out whenever anyone goes stargazing. Me when I use Wikipedia to find out what was happening on September 14th, 1991 in Major League Baseball, and when I go down a rabbit hole of approximately 10 tabs just to find a quote an announcer covering that specific match at 8:30 p.m. might have said, just to have it be a solid 3 sentences in an 8,000 word chapter. Me if I was someone tracking my internet use. Wow, this bitch loves the 2023 World Rally Championship Wikipedia article so much. Me absolutely destroying my YouTube recommended feed looking up military rations circa 2007. I once went down quite a rabbit hole on, Kraft veggie mac and cheese. And how much a loaf of bread cost in France in exactly 1564. So much of my Google history is random thing 1970s England. Me researching 1980s video games like that is the most vital detail in my story filled with magic and mythical creatures. You'll want to write about lesbian robot aliens and end up looking up seasonal plants in California. Me! I was repeatedly looking at calendars and cross-referencing websites on Wayback Machine for my 2009 and 2010 fic series. Does it matter if a specific Starbucks drink or a certain theme park ride existed in 2010? Probably not. Did I research it? Absolutely. Still obsessed with the 11th century trans-Mediterranean cheese trade. Low-key went nuts into bullet wounds territory. You know you're screwed when you're pulling up weather records from 10 years ago in languages you don't even speak. I'm writing a story placed in 2018, and I'm checking the weather season of a tropical country. And got insulted that it's not the shape of the moon I want. I feel personally seen right now. The amount of moon phase research I did for a single werewolf fanfic was ridiculous. I tried to look up what decomposing maned wolves and small-eared Zorros look like the other day, like some sort of evil scientist. Who among us has never read hundreds of pages of academic writing as research for a fic they'll never write? No knowledge is wasted, but still... OMG, no, because I did this, but the calendar was from 2008, because I wanted to know if Hanukkah and Christmas that year were the same week, just to write one sentence mentioning it. Just for me and the 4 people who read the story. Absolutely necessary, otherwise I couldn't live with myself. What if people check the date and they realize I lied? Jail for 1,000 years. Yes, I accidentally made the characters go to school on a holiday. I was extremely stressed out when I realized. They didn't make the 1988 Chevy Silverado in a manual drive version. That's just too damn bad. What is the optimal falafel restaurant in Markham, Ontario that has been open for a minimum of 15 years and that is within a 15-minute drive of 3 other specific locations? What is the outdoor rink situation like in the Greater Toronto Area in terms of volunteer organization? God, this! Why did no one tell me this? Why the heck am I researching milkshakes in Britain and how to take security footage from a 7-Eleven in 2010-ish Japan? I'm going freaking insane! I once considered printing pages from calendars from the 1980s and had to stop myself. I know too much about boxer blisters for someone who will never be in the ring. Do you know the state of Tennessee's overall preference for eggs is scrambled, versus New Jersey, who prefers over-easy? I have too much knowledge that I do not have any application for outside of fanfiction, gang. Or you can get put on a list because your spicy thriller fic has you looking up where you can stab someone without them dying. Or be like me and just make stuff up. That's not how human biology works. I don't care, just make stuff up. If Stephanie Meyer could make stuff up for Twilight, That means I am free to write things that don't make sense. Just write fanfiction about a universe where everything has a stupid space name and time doesn't matter. It's fine. I've been writing Star Wars, can you tell? Do not write fanfiction. 1 second you're normal, and the next you're pulling up a calendar to see exactly what time the sun rose on September 5th, 1834. Writing any story is like that, no matter where the story takes place. You either sync with a real calendar, or you're made up one. Either way, it's fun. Hi guys, Joey. Just wanted to chime in with my own experience. Because I decided basically 2 years ago, I think, I was gonna write this fanfiction, an alternate universe fanfiction that takes place in New York City. And I don't live anywhere close to New York City, but I wanted it to be realistic, so I started doing so much research about the neighborhoods different characters could live in, how long it would take for them to travel between their houses and school and work, what restaurants they could feasibly go to. I stole a real-life school to base the fake school on, and then I looked up classes from the real school to use them in my story. I wrote a chapter where a blizzard took place, and then I retroactively decided to look up what was the weather like in New York City on that day. And surprise, surprise, there was a big snowstorm. I got it right. I have a whole calendar timeline of different events all mapped out so the day of the week makes sense for when they happened. This fanfiction really spiraled out of control, and I've done so much research for it. I've researched so much. And was any of it necessary? No, not really. No one's gonna read this who's gonna actually look this kind of thing up. If theoretically like 5 people read this fanfiction one day, assuming I actually finish it, because it's been 2 years in the making, and it's far from done. What are the chances one of those 5 people is going to be a native New Yorker who gets mad at me because something doesn't make sense? Next to 0, yet I still research. We're all a little insane in our pursuits of writing perfection, and our sense of perfection varies from person to person. It's not that I feel my story wouldn't be perfect without the research, but it's just the cherry on top, isn't it? Knowing that you got as close as you could. But that was my ramble for you all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to all the cool Tumblr users who posted their replies to this first post I found. Go check them out if you want. They probably have some fun stories to read. And to end the video, of course, thank you to my Patreon members, my little Ruse, Nebulatic Vexen, Donka42, I Am a Noodle, John Huang, Laser Scorpio, Night Avenger, Mintara, Somnophobic Danny, Savage Otters, Valzy, Terabyte AIX, Kestrel, Dragonborn Canid, and Angie Ender. Thank you all so much for your extra support on Patreon. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are doing well. You guys are so cool. I wish you all the best always. Thank you for being here. It means a lot to see I was gonna say your faces, but I don't see your faces. It feels so good to see your names here cheering me on, so thank you. And the same goes to my YouTube channel members, my mini Ruse, Foxstar Killer, This Person 10, and Rainy Can't. Thank you so much for your extra support. I'm so glad to have you be a part of my YouTube channel. Keep on being awesome. I also wish you guys all the best. You're very kind, and I never forget that. Thank you again. Thank you to everyone else as well. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear all the crazy, detailed things you've researched. Have a great day, everyone. Or night. Sweet dreams if you're in the nighttime. Or if you're in the daytime, just sweet dreams later. Or maybe you're gonna take a nap. I don't know. I'm clearly tired because I'm just rambling incomprehensibly now. But I'll see you in the next one, and until then, goodbye.